Right, I think it's about time we got started. Apologise for the slightly late start. I got super excited when my Stan t-shirt arrived, so I've just been spamming that literally everywhere. Now we've done that, have a look at Autumn's Journey. Perfect. Ooh, let's move those down here for now. Might move them again in a bit, we shall see. Right. Settings. What that means. Be okay with the regular, I think. Okay. Go. Chapter 1, The End of Summer. Sunlight filtered through the airy birch forest as the lush ferns grazed my... I momentarily shielded my eyes before I returned north, treading... The muggy atmosphere that had hung over the past few months was now being replaced by the subtle crisp. Though the trees were still vibrantly green, apple-picking season was fast approaching for the town of Berry. I cheerfully stretched one arm toward the sky, inhaling deep. Oh, hello, Aurelie. And thus my weekly scouting mission for monsters, bandits, or anything out of the ordinary that may harm local citizens is over! And that concludes my mission. I laughed, wondering why I was announcing my agenda to no one. I guess I always just wanted to say that out loud. Walking around alone does prompt you into monologuing just so you can hear a voice. I just wish I wasn't restricted to freelance work in Berry, though. How long is my training gonna last? I'm more than ready for knighthood. I can do this. I adjusted the belt holding my sword, making sure the hilt could be pulled out at a moment's notice. I decided to meander back to the village by following the thin river down the gentle slope. I loved the terrain here. Not super rocky, but not entirely flat either. Check the output. I forgot about that. Right, yeah, that seems alright. Good levels. Oh. There was always an inclination, and higher up I could get a breathtaking panorama of Berry and its endless orchards. Is that my sweet little hawk? Hi, Rupert! Yes, it is. Hello! Especially in autumn, when the leaves were so vibrantly red that the entire forest seemed to ignite and the smell of crisp frost and thick fallen foliage lingered welcoming. It was then I spotted something entirely out of the ordinary near the riverbank, leaning against a birch tree. How are you, Rupert? I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a nice weekend. What's new with you? Yes, I may move these subtitles a bit. In the way, aren't they? Did I move my Ko-fi link as well? Just... Let's put... Thin birch trees were not exactly known to be comfortable resting spots, and I did not recognise the stranger's attire. Hey, Lance, welcome in. How are you doing? Hello? Are you a traveller? Whoa. His face came into view, and I realised he was sleeping. That's not what caught me off guard. He had beautiful protrusions resembling shale shards jutting out of his long hair, right where someone's ears should be. Or was it a decoration covering his ears? I was just thinking that. What are they? Not bad, sir. You good? Yeah, I'm alright, thank you. I don't know if you just saw in the Discord. I've been excitedly spamming pictures everywhere, but I got my Stan t-shirt. My first merch thing arrived. I'm so excited. It looks so good. It fits so well. Like, I know I have to say those things to, like, sell it and stuff, but genuinely, I'm so pleased with it. We stan our stan. Exactly! Exactly. And obviously, I got my fabulous suit over the weekend, so thank you again for that. You're a lifesaver. We're back today. I was playing a little Autumn's Journey, which I received a key for. So I'm super excited to get into this. I think it's like a visual novel, romancy, adventure type thing. That would be a nice way to like ease back into streaming after a week off. Yeah, you did look so good. You look so good. Thank you. I was really feeling myself in that suit. I'm not gonna lie, it was really good. Be even better when I'm wearing it properly. You know, makeup and stuff, and my hair's done and everything. I mean, not that I'm gonna do loads, but hoarding keys like a janitor. I am the Twitch janitor. I suddenly wanted to touch them, but I resisted. If he woke up in an untimely manner, it would be awkward to explain. Yeah, please don't go around grabbing random people's ears. At first I was about to leave, but then I noticed something else rather odd. From a simple glance, I saw no bags, no possessions, or anything else on him. This place was too far away from civilization for a simple afternoon stroll. Was he mugged? And if he'd been in Berry previously, I would have known. It was that small of a town. Curiosity won me over. I like his little armbands. Are they called armlets? I'm not really sure. You know, when you wear a bracelet, but like up by your shoulder? AJ! Welcome in! Hello! Nice to see you! How are you doing? Pleasant surprise! Hello? A flicker of concern passed over my face. I grabbed his shoulder and gave it a gentle shake, finding his lack of response unnerving. I quickly hovered a hand in front of his nose. Sure enough, he was breathing, and I did not see any injuries that would suggest he was knocked unconscious. I'm doing well. I've just panicked though and realised I've not had a cup of tea so far today. Would you like one? I would love one. I was just thinking that I need a drink. My voice is a bit croaky today. I mean, I've still got a little bit of my drink left, but I might have to go make a cuppa soon. That's a good shout. After some more feeble attempts to wake him, I decided to improvise a camp. I did not want to leave him unattended, and I knew I couldn't drag his body very far. Tossing down my bag, I went to work. Wow. The fire crackled merrily on the birch wood as I opened my cloth, which contained a lump of rye bread and hard cheese. These were emergency rations lest I was unable to return to Berry. Mother and father were probably worried. Just as I was about to bite into the cheese, I saw movement and glanced up, eyeing the stirring stranger. Cool, how do you take your tea? Just a little bit of milk, no sugar. Thank you. Setting my food down, I cautiously shuffled over. I'd previously placed his body in a supine position and used my bag as a substitute pillow. Though it was probably more lumpy than anything else, it was better than nothing. Supine, for those of you who don't know, means lying down. I did not know that until I went to drama school. We spent a lot of time in drama school in supine and semi-supine positions. Semi-supine is where you lie down but your knees are, like, up. Are you awake now? You've been out all afternoon. I was getting worried. I trailed off before I started rambling and watched him curiously as he opened his eyes. You call that missionary? Ayy.
Whoa.
Oh, purple. In a split second, he shot up and then clumsily fell back. I caught his arm to steady him. Whoa, take it easy. Just got up. He flinched from my skin contact, and I hastily let go, retreating slightly. Didn't get any sense of hostility, but he certainly seemed bewildered. Who are you? There was an uneasy edge in his voice. Not quite one of panic, but more of anger. Oh, I should have done that again then. Brewing up right now. By the way, your voice sounds really nice. I'm kind of trying to pick an accent in there, though I'm kind of terrible at that. So, well, I'm from the north originally, so occasionally the northern does leak out a bit. But I went to drama school, so I'm usually quite kind of southern London-y sounding now. Um, but yes, when I get angry or when I'm taking the piss, I do go a bit more northern usually. It was then I noticed that his eyes were of a brilliant amethyst hue, contrasting with his earthy hair tones. Better to remain calm. Orally, I found you in the woods outside of Bury. The surprise did not leave his eyes. They darted quickly to his hands, which then covered his face. Lastly, he ran his fingers through his brown hair. Did he expect me to shave his eyebrows or something? The horror on his face was so unsettling that I dumbly sat there for several seconds before mustering the courage to address him again. Are you alright? Obviously not, but I wanted a better grasp of the situation. He attempted to sit up again, but this time I was prepared. Again, he was repelled by my touch, and I gave up the desire to help him that way. I thought I got a little northern twang, just a little one. I get the same, my inner South London accent comes out harder when I'm drinking with certain friends. Yeah. Or if I'm like sometimes if I'm telling a story or something, then I'll defer to a northern voice. It really depends. Still appeared unstable, but ceased his sudden movements at least. He actually did it. The hell? He clutched at his temples, his fingers grazing over the odd fixations at the place of his ears. He wobbled as he tried to stand, and I impatiently rushed to his side. Stop it! Obviously can't move in your condition, so you might as well sit down and clear your head. What is going on? Who are you, and what are you doing here? He looked at me as if he was registering me for the first time since asking who I was. Everything about him screamed overwhelmed, and he simply grit his teeth in frustration. Ask if he's hungry, say nothing. Yeah, I mean, he's been out for a while, so he's probably hungry, right? We should give him some food. Wow. There is a man on the phone with his face practically pressed against my window. I don't think he realizes that I can see him. Like, he's not looking in, because I have a net curtain and stuff. It's just really freaking me out. His nose was like an inch away from my window. That was really a fucking unsettling. Oh my god. Love the different voices you're doing too. Reminds me of reading out loud in English classes at school. I was the only one to do different voices. Different voices are key. Key to the immersive experience. I decided to find another angle to help him open up. I did not consider myself intimidating, but it was possible he had no desire to answer anything. Are you hungry? Peel back the curtain and stare. The curtains are open. I mean, there's a net curtain, but like the actual curtains are open. That's how I can see him. He's gone now, thankfully. I think he just stopped, like, to say something into the phone and turned, like, to the wall for some reason, but, you know, the wall was my window. That was really unsettling. I softened my voice and returned to my spot by the fire. I grabbed the cloth and genially offered him the rye bread and cheese. He only arched an eyebrow in disgust. Look at that mouth! What is that? That? It's food? You chew it? I ripped off a piece of the dark bread and demonstrated, humming delightedly to show that it was edible. He scoffed and averted his eyes. Well, no food for you then.
I don't care.
I don't want it. It looks revolting. Sorry, my peasant food does not please my lord's taste. Ugh, his attitude was rubbing off on me. Calm down. If anything, he's hiding that he's scared. He did just wake up in a foreign place. Yeah, that would not have occurred to me. By this point, I would have been like, well, fucking starve then. I made you a camp. You can piss off now. Are you... nobility? He fell silent, and only the occasional crackle of the fire and the hooting of owls interrupted the stillness. I leaned back and ruminated over my meal, careful to leave some food untouched in case he changed his mind. Ah, there was that apple tart, too. I'll save it for later. Yeah, he had his chance. No apple tart for you, my good sir. I wrapped up the cloth, only vaguely aware that the stranger was examining my every movement. It nettled me slightly, but I decided not to comment. I did not want to do anything that would cause him to raise his guard even more. Owls? No escaping Duolingo. I know! I know. I should have done some today, but I just woke up and I was just not feeling it. I've been doing it on my own time, but I haven't done any stream ones for ages. I did intend to do one today, but I woke up and I just felt really rough. And my body is not happy today. I don't know if it's because we went out over the weekend or what, but my legs and my shoulders are really hurting at the minute. But you know, I'm alright. Like, I'm not complaining. I'm just not in a place to do Duolingo. But I got my Stan t-shirt, which I'm very excited about. I hope you all saw pictures, because I was feeling it. It's so cute. I love him. It was now dark, and I occasionally fed the fire, getting the feeling I was going to be spending the night. After what seemed like an eternity, he finally spoke up. Who are you again? Orally. I'm from the town of Berry. And you? Her. He reluctantly uttered the name, gazing into the fire. He seemed much calmer now. And how did you get here? His lip curled, almost smirking knowingly. You probably wouldn't believe it if I told you. You have unusual eyes and a strange fashion accessory over your ears. I think I can find your story credible. Harley from the town of Barry. Thanks, captions. That would be a very different accent. Barry Island! He flexed his hand, scrutinizing his fingers carefully. Father Ted theme intensifies. I didn't come here willingly. Out of all the places, I don't see why he decided to drop me in this low-born, simplistic... He glared at me, as if offended that I had addressed him directly. So, where are you from? I'm not particularly tied to any region. Not obvious already, I'm not one of you. Tapped his knee petulantly. Okay. Is he gonna turn out to be like a god or something, and another god has made him, like, mortal? A dragon. One of the dragons. An earth dragon. He stated it full of pride, with no ounce of humility. Dubiously, I inspected him from head to toe, taking note of the stone-like juts for ears and his remarkable eyes. He balked at under my stare, but quickly why can't I speak suddenly? Regained his dignity. You wanna live like common people. You wanna sleep with common people who aren't dragons. Pretty sure that's how that song goes. Yeah, definitely. His eyebrows furrowed fiercely. So, why would an earth dragon be here? It's not because I wanted to. He blurted it out angrily, then touched his unique ears for comfort. I sighed, then tilted my head from side to side as I absorbed his explanation. Alright, I'll admit I'm not exactly accepting this as feasible, but I'm not dismissing it either. Fierce Furrow sounds like some kind of animal sanctuary. That would be a great name for like a farm or something. You are right, I like that. You can't transform back? If I could, do you think I would remain in this pathetic body? So weak. I instinctively patted my sword hilt to counter that remark, but stopped when I saw him attempt to stand again.
Whoa.
It was like watching a toddler take his or her first steps, but instead of cutely coaxing, I was fervently discouraging his effort. Oh, I think the issue maybe is when it goes over his body, I can't read it quite as well because of the colour changes. I think that's tripping me up a little bit. Oh well. Hawk's anime protagonist voice is in full swing for this guy. I mean, look at him, come on. We've already established that you're unfamiliar with your form. Besides, it's too dark to walk around aimlessly. Also, I can't do American accents. That's also not helping. I'll find a walking stick for you and we can return to Barry if you'd like. It'd feel wrong if I abandoned you in this state.
I don't need...
Are you saying I can't handle myself? I'm pointing it out. Realizing we were both escalating our voices, I looked away in a huff, not wanting to have our encounter turn sour so rapidly. No, I'm just saying your toxic masculinity is showing from here, Edgar. Yeah, that's fair. The entire Dream Daddy playthrough begs to differ. I don't know, that was not a good accent in Dream Daddy, but thank you. An altar. I need to find an altar. You Heavenkind worship us, right? Well, yeah, I mean, Dragonkind were here first, so it's only natural we pay our respects. I admit, I thought dragons were more divine and irreproachable. Her was definitely giving me a different impression. Thank you for the resub, Xena! Oh my gosh, 10 months, wow. Thank you so much, bless you, and welcome. I hope you're doing well. I barely knew anything about the Dragonkind, though. They focused on their own affairs. You will take me there. It was a plain statement, not a suggestion nor a plea. Why an altar? They're all Heavenkind made. How would it help you? Parried my questioning exasperatedly. Doesn't matter. Do you know where one is? Did it just get a lot hotter in here, or is it just me? It might be the tinkly music. Yeah, there's one not far from here. There's a cave that leads to it. But, could also be the arrival of Xena. Maybe. Relief washed over his face, and for once his scowl vanished. Good. We should go there this instant. He obstinately tried to stand up again, but I lunged forward and firmly sat him back down. He gaped at me in disbelief, but my will was as stubborn as his. I am slightly damp from being rained on, but otherwise good. Pixar, it didn't happen. Oh, you flatterers, please keep going. I mean, you know what we all think of you, Xena. You know it. Morning. We will do this in the morning. Get some sleep, and I'll find an ideal walking stick. I mean, he's just been asleep, like, all day, but okay. I don't think you'll master bipedalism without some assistance, especially not in a day, and it'll be difficult if I have to physically support you the whole way there. So, just take it easy tonight. I'll even keep watch while you sleep. After my entreatment, he fell silent and gave a reluctant nod, closing his eyes wearily. I sighed gratefully, feeling moderately triumphant over that battle of pig-headedness. As Kerr was grumbling, I leaned over and pulled a small blanket out of my bag. The temperature was still pleasant, even at night, but it could cool rapidly, especially since it was the end of summer. After returning some items to my bag, I reshaped it so it was a passable pillow again and offered it to Kerr, who seemed puzzled by its purpose. Believe me, you'll need something comfortable or you'll have trouble sleeping. Worse, you'll wake up with a sore back and getting to the altar will be even more troublesome. You already slept on it once. I think you can figure out how to support your head with it again. I laughed sheepishly at my own stab at lightening the mood, but I could tell it wasn't working for Kerr. Disgruntled, he lay down on his side and experimented with a few positions before resting his head in satisfaction. At first, he refused to use the blanket, but as the temperature dropped, he discreetly pulled it toward him when he thought I wouldn't notice. So, why does this man need help inhabiting a body? What strange magics are afoot? Kerr appears to be an earth dragon who has now woken up as a man. We don't really know why yet, but he did say something about so he managed to do it, so presumably it's some kind of curse or transfiguration. But yes. Probably to hide his expression, he rolled over so his back was to me and the campfire. I had the feeling the initial shock took a lot out of him, and I admittedly hadn't helped when he'd ruffled my feathers. More than once. Gotcha, if only I had a penny for every time that happened to me. I mean, I'm trying very hard not to make any bad dragon jokes. Now that he was sleeping, though, any irritation I still felt dispersed along with the summer heat. I would need to be mentally and physically prepared for tomorrow, stay cool and collected as autumn. I poked the fire and stayed on my watch until exhaustion beguiled me, resting my eyes for just a few minutes. Hawk! What? Oh my god, that's adorable.
Hey. Please, I've had less sleep than you and I'm already
energized and ready to go. He's not bad, he's just drawn that way. Exactly. Pouting, I poked Kerr some more with the walking stick I'd fashioned for him. It hadn't been easy to find a sturdy stick in a birch forest, but I'd located a long one that would suffice. I'd spent the morning carving off any bark and had even indented the top to make it easier to grip. Now it was my dragon prod.
up! Arise, sacred dragon!
I mean, the achievement poking the dragon isn't making it any easier for me. Cut that out! Kerr shot up hastily, throwing off my blanket in a feeble attempt to hide the fact he had used it. I decided to counter his usual scowl with the perkiest, most cheerful grin I could muster.
Good morning!
My buoyancy was genuine. For some reason, it satisfied me to know that my vivaciousness irked him. Kerr's OnlyFans is going well then. It is! I was going to say better than mine, but I mean, it is, by sheer point of existing, is going better than mine. I could use my sunny disposition to my advantage. It'd be better than snapping at him at any rate. Stop poking me with that.
It's your walking stick. Here, you're welcome.
I turned it sideways and offered it to him. He warily gazed at it, as if I was presenting a cobra instead, but carefully grasped it. Cautiously, he pressed the stick against the ground as he stood up. I remained close, lest he topple over like yesterday. His fingers drummed against the carved handle, and he looked at me quizzically. You spent time on this?
Well, I wanted to finish it off with a pretty flowing ribbon, but I had the feeling you wouldn't like it.
Sure, non-existent. What are you trying to say, Rupert? Grumbling, Kerr took a step forward, leaning on the stick before hesitantly taking another. With each step, he regained some confidence, and soon he was walking in a straight line, albeit with an uneven gait. He's opening up a site for crocheted cephalopod pics. Only stands. Ayy! Did not exactly break into a run, or even a brisk stride, but it was a huge improvement from last night. I estimated he could reach the cave leading to the altar by mid-afternoon. Ayo! I quickly packed and followed him, since I had the feeling the only thing on his mind was that altar.
It's this way.
Great pun, great pun. Crochet Cephalopod would be a great band name. It would. Yes, I'm into that. What kind of music would they play? I pointed toward the gentle incline and Keir narrowed his eyes resentfully. Going downhill would probably be difficult for him. Just push it. As we headed towards our destination, I kept my distance at first, but I gradually drew toward Kerr, one hand extended in anticipation of a stumble. Kerr balked and increased the distance between us, determined to progress on his own. However, his pace was excruciatingly slow, and he was unwilling to start any small talk. As the slope gradually steepened, his footing became more unsteady, and I worryingly grabbed his arm for support. Fusion death metal and gangster rap. Nice. I like it. What?
Whoa.
He twirled around in surprise, and I accidentally did end up bracing him. Once he was stable again, I sighed.
Look, I know you don't like me touching you, but if your priority is to get to that altar as soon as possible, I think you can swallow your dignity and accept my help. Besides, no one else is around to see.
I don't need.
You've done enough. I don't need any more help from you. He shifted his weight and started using the stick to ward me away. I frowned disapprovingly.
Hey, if you try to hit me with that thing, I'll confiscate it.
Even I wouldn't do something like that. Gritting his teeth, he leaned heavily against one of the birch trees. When I get back, I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind.
Who?
My master. His curt answer stalled the torrent of questions piling up in my head. Stop being a macho dingus, Kerr! Accept help gracefully, you infuriating dragon! Told you he was a bad dragon. Would be poor of me to interrogate him when he was still obviously overwhelmed by the situation. Right now, the goal was more important.
Then let's get you to that cave.
You believe me? Everything I told you?
Maybe you're just a very convincing actor, but I think even an actor would drop this charade after a while.
Just as I was about to reach for him again, a low grumble pierced the forest. I glanced at Kerr in amused bafflement. He averted his eyes, but I could tell he was embarrassed. Just yelling from the audience, Kerr, stop being a bellend and accept help!
You know, if you're hungry...
I'm not! Another complaint from his stomach. Yes, stomachs don't like it when you deny that you're hungry. They will protest.
I think you'll be able to walk faster if you have something to eat. What do dragons eat, anyway?
Annoying.
Meddling heaven kind. I rolled my eyes.
Well, you have a heaven-kind stomach now, and I doubt it'll agree with a diet like that. But it does make sense that you wouldn't want to try the bread or cheese. I doubt dragons thresh rye or run dairy farms. It was then that I remembered the apple tart. Even if Kerr found the pastry part detestable, the fruit would probably be familiar to him. I urged him to sit down. When he refused, I simply made myself comfortable on the ground first. Here, this is the closest thing I have to something found in nature. I could forage, but that could take even longer.
If the Witcher has taught me anything, a whole-ass cow is usually what dragons eat. Exactly. What is that?
It's a pastry. My dad owns a bakery. You probably wouldn't understand that. It's basically a treat with apple filling, and I think some apricot jam. Oh, apricot. I think Americans say apricot, don't they? Thankfully, my dad preferred showing off the natural ingredients. As a result, the top of the tart had thin slices of appetizing fruit covered with a lustrous yellow glaze. They do, thank you. Kerr sniffed it warily. It must have been agreeable enough, since he soon accepted the pastry. You're welcome. As soon as he started nibbling on it, he must have realized how famished he really was, because he quickly devoured the entire tart. I watched as he coughed slightly and wiped the crumbs off his mouth, but his expression was unreadable. So... Okay, now I want an apple tart. Same! Tart Tatin is amazing. Pinky. How was it? Anything tastes fine when you're starving. Or you just inhaled it so fast you didn't actually taste it? Well, it should tide you over until we reach the altar. Kerr grabbed his stick, and we resumed our trip. The extra sugar boost seemed to lift both the pace and his mood, although he stayed taciturn. As we continued through the forest, I stopped and groaned when I spotted some dark trees.
Oh no.
Ugh. Those are Ifilbon trees? Ifilbon, I think I'm gonna say. Ifilbon. Ifilbon trees? Completely forgot. We should probably go around them. Ifilbon? Ifilbon? Peered at the thick, gnarled trunks. What? Scared of the bark? It'll be quicker if we continue in a straight line. No, it's not about the trees. It's about what lies in them. They make perfect nests for... Aviterals. Aviterals? Aviterals? Aviterals, I think. Aviterals. The hell are those? Those giant bird things. I thought you would know them. I would if I understood your names. Why are you giving new names to everything anyway? We dragons were here first, and we've already established... I raised my hand to silence him, not wanting to make any unnecessary noise. He scowled, but a shrill cry startled both of us. Look at that scowl. Rupert, does that remind you of Kara, or is that just me? Then what do you call that?
Whoa.
Usually food. Well, that'll be us now. Oh my god, huh? It was Kara, right? Kara makes that exact face. Perched on one of the lower branches was a reptilian bird with scales running down its front. The rest of its body was covered in earth-toned feathers. Though probably no taller than 4 feet, its extremely wide wingspan and sharp talons made it a fearsome animal to encounter in the wild. Aviterals raised young way into the fall, so the mothers would be extra territorial this time of year. The bird ruffled its plume, making itself seem larger than it was, and prepared to launch itself at us. I immediately stepped in front of Kerr, gripping my sword as I took a defensive stance. Hell yes, Aurelie. With Kerr's condition, an instant retreat wouldn't work. I'd have to guard him. What are you... You're not planning to fight it, are you? Do we have a Look out! I shoved Kerr off balance. Thanks to my quick reflexes, we narrowly avoided a slash from the Aviteral's talons. The wind whipped at my hair as debris flew up around us. I scrambled to my feet and sprinted forward, hoping to keep the Aviteral's attention away from Kerr. As it dove towards me, I slashed upward. It veered away, dodging my counterattack. Kerr, I'll keep you busy while you get away. Are you stupid? I'm not leaving you behind. Kerr? I need you to take me to that altar. Maybe if you shouted the directions at me, I could get there alone. I'm kind of busy here. I can't get my bearings in the middle of a battle. My aggravation was the incentive I needed to keep the Avateral at bay. However, my training had never covered aerial attacks, and the bird's scaly front was like armor. Aurelian Bad Dragon. It's like Hawk didn't stand a chance. Are you holding back? Well, it's just protecting its young. It's trying to kill you. You think I haven't noticed? Oh, for the wings. Clip them. It won't hurt it, but it'll stop it from flying. Just clip the tips. Yeah, it might not hurt it, but then how's it gonna feed its babies? Xena, this is bad enough without you bringing tits into the equation. I widened my stance as I prepared for another attack. At the last second, I leapt to the side, slicing at an angle. My sword beautifully sheared the Avateral's thick primary feathers. Xena knows what she's doing. I know she does. Not just apple tarts today. Should I leave mine at home? No! No! The monster swerved into the ground, its shoulder and head bearing the brunt of the crash. It let out a cry, and I felt a split second of guilt. That vanished with a yelp as the bird tried to tear me down with its talons. Luckily, the Avateral was designed for swooping down at prey rather than running on the ground, so it could only hobble awkwardly. I thought not. Alright, Xena, alright, you made your point. Shush. As it screeched and futilely spread its wings, I retreated, grateful that it was even slower than Kerr. I wove through the trees until it finally gave up chasing me. Then, sighing in relief, I leaped back and returned to Kerr, who was also at a safe distance. Looks like it gave up. But what about its young? It'll be fine. The feathers will grow back and it can still hop back to its nest. Babies won't need to eat as constantly at this stage anyway. You sure know a lot about them. Thanks for the suggestion. He snorted indignantly. I already told you. They're food. Of course I know about them. Soon the forest was quiet once again, with the only sounds of our footsteps and the tap of Kerr's walking stick breaking the silence. Surprisingly, he did not protest when I suggested a safer route, nor when I walked nearly shoulder to shoulder with him. I had the feeling that starting a regular conversation would push my luck, so I kept my mouth shut and instead hoped for no more setbacks. Whew. Alright, I'm gonna have a quick break because I am out of liquids, and also I seem to have lost the ability to read. So please have a drink, have a stretch, and I will see you all in a couple of minutes.
Hello, friends. No friends, thanks subtitles. Also, I just thought of a perfect caption for the pictures of me with my stand top, and I'm really annoyed I didn't think of it before. I'm assuming most, if not all of you, are familiar with Dinner Ladies, because hello, it's 90% of my personality. There's a bit in that where Stan... Hello, friends, no friends. Wow, just call Hawk out, why don't you, right? I'm aware of this, yes. Yeah, so there's a bit where Stan is like, I've always wanted to wear an aftershave called Stan. Could lead to an amusing bit of badinage, could that? What are you wearing, Stan? Yes. And I really wish I thought of that earlier. I should have put that as my caption. Anyway. Back to the game. Let's see if I can actually read now. This is it.
Yeah, it's not a very deep cave. You can simply take a turn and the altar is right there.
That's it? No complex mazes, no shiny sacred magic lake with a guardian or anything? I'm going in a different direction of thinking of puns related to Stan the Eminem song. Nice, also good, also good. I know of the song, but I don't think I know it well enough to really come up with a pun of my own, so feel free to share.
Hey, we did what we could. This is a modest altar.
I took a deep breath and smiled reminiscently.
I haven't been here in years. I think I came to make the occasional offering around harvest season.
I gave Kerr a cheerful look, but he continued forward, ignoring my recollection. I shrugged and followed, quickly catching up to him. Kerr awkwardly knelt down before the altar, discarding the walking stick once he was comfortable. His eyes closed with a softened scowl, almost as if he was meditating. Suddenly, his mineral-like ears perked, and he stared directly at the statue. There was no change in atmosphere, but I could tell Kerr was angry. His hand tightly gripped his knee. I know we're connected. I demand that you remove this stupid curse. He fell silent, and I looked around in bemusement. He was talking to someone? But I could not hear the other half of the conversation. For some reason, that made me even more attentive as I tried to piece together everything. You can't be serious! So I said a few things, but... Yes, I met one. That's how I found the altar in the first place. He whirled towards me and blinked in confusion, as if studying me for the first time. I stiffened, wondering why he was staring at me so intensely. You cannot be serious! John McEnroe out here. Once he finally turned away, I relaxed, although I could not help but feel anxious about the discussion. I don't know how Kerr would fare with tennis when he can barely walk, but you know, we can give it a go.
What about me?
Weak, pathetic, gives strange names to animals, doesn't seem to know much about Ishtara or how the world works.
Ugh, is he referring to Heavenkind in general, or just me?
What? I guess their food is half decent or something. What? No! No. You're not sending me on a pointless inspirational quest. I'm not a child. I can't even walk in this form. So your plan is... At that moment, a blinding light flashed from where Kerr was standing, and I flinched in shock. Whoa! Kerr? By the time I had knelt down and worryingly grabbed his shoulder, the flash had already disappeared. The thing about flashes, they're quick. In one smooth movement, Kerr removed my hand and stood up without the walking stick. His eyes still seemed focused beyond me, and he slowly nodded to him.
Did your powers return or something?
He extended his palm and lurched towards the ground, slamming it against the hard stone. The entire cave shook. The tremor visibly and mentally shook me as well. My heart pounded loudly. I felt so paralyzed that I couldn't even scream. Once I found my balance, I looked bewilderedly at Kerr. Smugly flexed his unharmed fingers. Oh my god, why can't I read today? I stared curiously at his cocksure expression. Look, if we're not allowing tits into the conversation, we're definitely not allowing cocks. So... He barely glanced in my direction. Not exactly what I wanted. However, a portion of my original powers and strength are back, along with my balance. I can actually be comfortable in this form now. Also, I've just noticed, are the ends of his hair grey? Or like a blue? He gave a dismissive kick to the walking stick, then promptly walked away from the altar. Wow, it's not like I spent all night on that, you piece of shit. I stared curiously at his cock. Sure expression. I mustered a small smile.
Right. Well, that's promising at least. What will you do next?
Do what he ordered me to do and become normal again. I can handle this on my own. You don't need to follow me. I had to anyway, there was only one way out of the cave. But as soon as we were in open air, Kerr took off running with a grace and speed I'm sure no real Heavenkind could ever replicate. My guy out here sounding like an Autism Speaks campaigner, oh my god. I can make them normal again! That's so dark. I blinked once and, sure enough, I was alone. I scratched the back of my head, still absorbing what just happened. You're welcome? Burying my head in my hands, I shook out my hair in frustration. Was I expecting something from this? Bit longer than SMH, but okay. Relatable orally, relatable. Yeah. Well, a thank you would have been nice. I tapped my sword hilt for reassurance.
What a knight does. They help the weak and demonstrate their generosity when it is needed. Well, Kerr's not weak anymore. He can definitely take care of himself now. I guess my duty is done.
I expected nothing, and I'm still disappointed. Oh, thank you for the host, AJ. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Mission complete. Just some experience as a reward and a discarded walking stick.
Do you stream, AJ? Deciding not to linger any longer, nice, I started walking back toward Berry. My parents would certainly be worried by now. Hey, No Angel, how's it going? Welcome in.
Lovely to see you.
Ooh, Chapter 2. I trekked back through the forest, careful to avoid any more wild animals. When I reached the spot where I'd previously set up camp, I decided to take a quick break to eat. I unwrapped my bread and cheese, poking half-heartedly at their grainy texture as I stared at the remains of the campfire. I do stream 2-3 times a week, mostly arsing around on retro console games and driving trains. Nice, yes, I did say that you were a Trains fan. I have a few friends that are really into trains, so that's cool. My friend Spider, who comes into chat sometimes, is really into steam trains especially. And we spent many happy nights building tracks around the living room and watching the trains go. Great fun. Yeah, I'm one of those people. No! Would somebody mind popping in a shout out for AJ in the chat then, please? What kind of retro games then? As I was about to take a bite, I had an odd feeling of discomfort and glanced sideways. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 3, nice. Thank you! I will, before I forget, hang on. Looks at that YouTube channel I have with 6.5k subs purely about me nerding about trains. Hey, Mel has a YouTube channel with like 500,000 subs because she did one like lyric video like 20 years ago. Not 20 obviously, but so many years ago. I was like, why couldn't I have that channel? Imagine the start I would get streaming if I started streaming on there. I mean, crazy. Let me follow you right now before I forget. Unless I already do. I don't think I do though. I do not, but I do now. There we go. No way, that's rad. I mean, she doesn't use it for anything though, that's the thing, it's just sitting there. I really wish you could like retweet videos on YouTube, because if she did that a couple of times to my YouTube videos, I'd be like stacked. It would be great. But yeah. I'm okay, thanks. Just got home from getting more of my Lord of the Rings tattoo done. Oh, nice. How's it going? Is it done now, or is it you've got to go back, or... Annoyingly, it looks like I stream at the same time of day most days as you, except Saturdays? I'm normally up here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Saturdays I stream at 6 o'clock if I stream at all. At the minute, I've not really been doing Saturday streams because I've just been so, like, worn out. But if I do stream on a Saturday, it'll be in the evening, and it'll be with Mel. Although Mel's going to be around a lot more soon because it's nearly summer holidays. Am I really imagining things? What's he doing? I sighed. Sir, I know you're there. You don't have to hide. There was only silence at first, but I heard a slight rustle and turned my head again. Seriously, you just moved to another location. I hope you weren't gonna wait until I was asleep to steal my stuff. I wasn't planning on doing anything like that. Carv reluctantly emerged from behind one of the bigger trees. His expression looked conflicted, and I could tell he did not want to be with me again. Just a few details she couldn't quite get into the ring, so going back for that, and any touch-ups at the end of August. Oh, sweet! Nice. I've booked in with Chloe for the beginning of September to get my next piece, which I'm very excited about. Sadly, still no Phoenix that Kira drew me. I'm really excited to get it, I just do not have the funds, because that's going to be a big one. But I'm excited for this one. It's going to be cute. I assume you're going to post pictures in Discord of the updated tattoo? Oh, AJ, are you in my Discord? I can't remember. I don't think so. Hang on. Can somebody do the Discord thing? I think anyone can do it, you don't have to be a mod. But feel free to come hang out with us. Heroic Minds, I was just about to ask. There we go, yeah. Yeah, once it's less second red. Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. Ooh, lots of Discord. Thank you. Welcome back. Did you miss me? No. But then I realized I wouldn't be able to find the next altar without you. Well, you're out of luck. I don't know the whereabouts of any other dragon caves, nor am I carrying more apple tarts if you're hungry. There really is no reason to stick with me. You'll need to get another guide or find someone else that can help. But I don't want to go through the trouble of finding anyone else. At least until I get my bearings, I have no clue where to go from here. A small idea formed in my head. Wait, perhaps I could accompany her to Oliver. If I explain the situation to Mom, maybe she'll consider writing me the night recommendation letter. Yes, sorry, for Ray, you've just joined, so I should give you some context. Aurelie is a knight in training. While she was out today, or yesterday now, I suppose, she encountered this strange man called Kerr, who is actually an earth dragon who has been transformed into human form. So now he's been given some kind of quest before I can get his original body back, by the look of things. And I got the key for this game from the devs, which is very awesome. I'm very pleased about it. I'm very grateful. And it's obviously some kind of like visual novel adventure type thing with, I'm assuming, romance elements. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. I hope everyone's enjoying it.
Then, if you'd like, I'll accompany you to Barry. From there, we can travel to Oliver. It's a huge city. You'll probably find directions to other altars there. That sound acceptable?
Looks cute. It is very cute. He grumbled in agreement and sat down on the fallen log I was using, but near the edge to leave plenty of space between us.
Look,
My master almost asked for me to interact with Heavenkind more. I've already been with you long enough.
Nice to know I'm tolerable to be around. And your master doesn't seem that bad.
He has an interest in working with Heavenkind. I guess he didn't like it when one of his pupils didn't share his point of view. I grinned wryly.
At least he was kind enough to curse you with some clothes. I didn't think dragons normally wore clothes. Is that a spell, or are those the genuine articles?
Kurt tugged on his shirt, as if suddenly aware of it.
Think it's a spell? It won't wear off or anything, will it?
He scoffed. I assure you the spell won't wear off my clothes.
Just that I don't want to glance back during, I don't know, the heat of battle and catch you stark naked. That'll never happen. Jeez, why are you interested in seeing me shirtless? If you want, I can take these right off. Please, no. I trust in the magical sustainability of those clothes, so please keep them on.
Yeah, she won't be saying that in another hour, will she?
Besides, you'll stay warmer that way.
Is that why Heavenkind wear them?
Something like that.
I pulled off some of the bread, and popped it into my mouth. I watched briefly with interest before haughtily averting his eyes. Still can't read. Never mind.
Let me guess. You're hungry as well?
I don't know what Heavenkind consume, but I don't think I can eat what I normally would. As he pursed his lips, I handed him the rest of the bread. He arched his eyebrow in surprise at the offering.
It's fine. I had a small breakfast and I'll be back in Barry soon.
Without bothering to inspect it like he had with the apple tart, crammed the bread into his mouth. I stifled a laugh since I had a feeling dragons had no concept of chewing. Propping an elbow on my knee, I watched him with amusement. I was also feeling a little unimpressed with how dismissive he was towards me. Yeah, let's tease him, because he probably has no concept of being teased, and it'll probably annoy him anyway. I lowered my voice to imitate him.
Oh, Orly, I'm so eternally grateful. You are the best that Heavenkind has to offer, and I'm so glad you helped me, fed me, and led me to where I needed to go.
Look at that face!
Where would I be without your immeasurable kindness? Thank you.
Kerr coughed violently as he tried to respond and failed, and I continued. I feigned a sweet giggle and fluttered my fingers toward him.
Oh, Kerr, it was nothing. You're welcome.
After pounding his chest, then swallowing loudly, Kerr tried to speak up. What?
Shut up.
Before he could start, I stuffed the last portion of cheese into his mouth. I kept my hand there, and we exchanged a meaningful look. His quizzical stare softened, and I took a step back. It's nothing. You finish eating. I'm gonna take a quick walk. I stalked off before he could answer. Ooh, pretty. I approached the riverside, crouched down, and splashed my face with water, rubbing my forehead and cheeks. Then I inhaled deeply and ruffled my hair, careful not to snag on my braid. Ugh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. The knight was supposed to be courteous, I said that weird, generous, kind, just, honourable, and help those in need. And here I was, struggling to maintain a calm demeanour. There was something about Kerr's attitude that always got me worked up. Well, that and him showing some gratitude would be nice. Or was it wrong for me to seek it in the first place? Still have a long way to go before I'm more like Mom. How does she do it? I grabbed a flat, polished rock and stood up, throwing and catching it a few times while I pondered what to do next. I do like these little, chibi animation picture bits. They're so cute. First things first, Kerr will return to Bury with me. We'll need to stock up on supplies and figure out where the next altar is. I tossed the rock up and caught it again. Does he expect me to travel with him the whole time? Or until Oliver? I wonder if I'm mentally prepared for this. Gripping the stone, I threw it into the water at an angle. Skipped a few times before disappearing completely. I cannot skip rocks for the life of me. I cannot skip rocks and I cannot whistle. I am a failure of a human being. I bit my lip, not pleased with my 3-hop achievement. I could probably get 7 rebounds on a good day. I can get 2 on a good day. I should get back. I wonder if Kerr already got impatient and left. Just as I turned to leave, I heard a loud splash and immediately whirled around, unsheathing my sword. I angled the blade upward and widened my stance. Oh, hello! Bursting from the water was a large, serpent-like dragon with a translucent ridge down its back. Sorry, I'm just taking a second to look at it. I love the artwork, it's very pretty. Where'd this Lapras come from? It flapped its wing-like fins, head extending beyond the shore. I gripped my teeth, searching for a weak point, but kept my distance. Or, you know, Waterizard, if that was a thing. Nice. Tightening my grip on my sword, I looked the dragon directly in the eye. The transparent wings are very pretty. They are, yeah. And the tail. I like the spines, like the, I don't know if spines is the right word, but you know the bit in between the actual wing bits, like the fingery bits. I like the way they look. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's quite, somehow very successfully, watery, rather than, light-based. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Tightening my grip on my sword, I looked the dragon directly in the eye. It recoiled when it saw my weapon, withdrawing its head, made no further movements. It didn't appear to be hostile. I know what you mean, not sure of the word. Thank you. Oh, like the webbing? Ridges? Yeah. Oh, I think the webbing is the actual wing bit, right? Like the bit that catches... Yeah? Because the webbing in between your fingers is the bit that's like that, right? So it's the the bits between those that hold them out. Something quite almost coral-like about them, I guess. I slowly sheathed my sword, but kept a firm grip on its hilt. Ooh. A mist formed around the dragon, and I stepped back, unsure of whether to retreat or wait. I think wait, definitely. Wants to communicate. It seemed to vanish as the mist overtook it, and I squinted. Oh! Moments later, I spotted a rather hazy figure. Hello.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, hello. You know what he reminds me of with those ears? What's her face from Monster Prom? But are we gonna fuck the dragon? I mean, I think we're definitely gonna pick one of them, aren't we? Are we gonna have to teach another dragon to walk? Well, that seemed like a voluntary transformation, so maybe he's already, like, mastered it. Gosh, what is her name? You know, the one from Monster Prom that's, like, a genocidal maniac and, like, a princess? Fingers crossed Dragon Daycare isn't what we had in mind. I blinked as a lithe, heaven-kind figure appeared before me. He had similar ears as the water dragon, so I could safely assume they were one and the same. He also had brilliant teal-coloured hair, which I'd never seen before. He fidgeted with his hands and gave me an apologetic look.
Are you okay?
I didn't mean to, frighten you. His wide eyes disarmed me completely, and I could only wave my hands frantically to reassure him. No, it's fine. I didn't mean to threaten you with my sword. It just sort of instinctive, and it's understandable. You didn't know what my intentions were, and I probably looked intimidating. Look at his eyes! Oh my gosh! We both stopped and exchanged an awkward smile. At first it was a giggle, but I soon started laughing, then rubbed the back of my head sheepishly. He joined in with his own gentle chuckle, and any tension we felt from our rather intense encounter dissolved instantly. So what are you here for? I'm looking for someone. He should be around here and would have unique ears like mine and... Oh, you mean Kerr? Are you Kerr's master? His eyes widened. Me? Oh, no, I'm actually a pupil for someone else, but I know his master well. He raised his arms and glanced at the sleeves, tugging on them before inspecting the rest of his clothes. It was then I could see his long hair tumble over his shoulders, complete with a flowing purple ribbon. You look fine. Aw, you even transformed with a braid already in place. That's cute. He grinned cheerfully, seeming pleased with himself.
Thank you.
Heaven girl, here you are. I have a name. Uh-oh. Kerr approached us petulantly and gave the new boy a supercilious glare. The boy balked slightly and glanced shyly away.
The hell?
I heard a large splash and came to check. Who are you? I'm Ilmari. We've met a few times. Kerr gazed at him so intently that Ilmari squirmed uneasily. Nope, don't know ya. And how did you find me anyway, Ilmara? Oh, Ilmara. Ilmari. I overheard our masters talking, and Master Bedros mentioned you, so I...
Kerr groaned loudly. Let me guess. They sent you?
Sure. Sent. They sent me to supervise your assignment. So please take me with you.
Kerr and I exchanged glances. Look, Ellie...
Ilmari.
Whatever. This isn't exactly something I want to do, nor do I want more company to slow me down, unless you can fly. Ilmari's face fell. And can instantly take me to the next altar, I'm not interested. Go back and tell our masters I can handle this myself. But... I sighed and stepped in, raising a hand to touch Kerr's shoulder.
You don't need to...
Kerr flinched from the physical contact, and I mentally kicked myself for forgetting already.
Right. No touchy. Anyway, I think Ilmari will prove useful. He did say the masters wanted this, right? They placed their trust in him for a reason.
Ilmari shifted his eyes and glanced at the ground. Yeah, of course they totally sent him. Come on, people. Right. I promise I won't be a burden. And if I am, well, I can go back. Kerr grumbled and merely walked downstream, waving dismissively.
I don't care.
Do what you want, just promise you won't lecture me or do any of that nonsense. I already get it enough.
Promise.
Ilmari's smile was so bright that I couldn't help but grin as well. I turned to him and offered a hand, and he tilted his head quizzically.
Looks like we'll be traveling companions. At least for a while. This is an offer to shake hands. It's a greeting between Heavenkind.
Ilmari extended his hand, and I gave it a firm shake.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Orly.
Pleased to meet you too. And thank you for convincing Kerr.
Thank you?
Pardon?
You have no idea how long I've been waiting to hear those words. I have a feeling you and I will get along
swimmingly. Get it? 'Cause you're a water dragon? Aha! Sorry. I don't know what the fuck that was. Swimmingly? He glanced back at the river, then chuckled. Is this Heavenkind humor?
Something like that, but it usually elicits more groans than laughter.
But hog. Hey, I didn't write the script, don't you blame me.
Come on, we should probably get going before Kerr decides to ditch both of us. I don't have any more food to lure him back. About food and Heavenkind needs, I researched a bit, but I'm not completely familiar. Don't worry, my dad makes food for a living, so you'll learn a lot about it.
He nodded happily. With that, we quickened our pace before Kerr could yell at us to hurry. I wonder how they'll react to entering the Heavenkind town.
The 3. Berry!
We arrived late afternoon. Oh, this is very Pokemon vibes, isn't it? I feel like we're in Pallet Town. Or maybe one of the other starter towns, like New Barktown or something. Berry was a small farming community nestled by the riverbank, perfectly situated between larger cities.
It had at least 3 dozen houses, many with their own farmland and sprawling orchards beyond the river. Of course, it also had an inn for travellers, which was becoming more popular thanks to the improved roads.
Wow.
Ilmari seemed thrilled, gasping over every little thing while his eyes excitedly darted from one house to the next. Kerr simply rolled his eyes and remained withdrawn as we walked over to my family's house. Very Pokemon vibes, yeah. I admit I was concerned. Their ears weren't exactly natural, and Ilmari's hair colour was striking even from a distance. There were a few people who passed and gave curious glances, but they relaxed when they saw that I was accompanying the boys. You knew everyone in Berry, especially if you lived here for most of your life. When we reached my house, I motioned over to Ilmari and Kerr. You two wait here for a bit? I need to talk to my parents first. I can't just invite strangers in. Is it some kind of heaven-kind formality? Yeah, formality. Something like that. That's why it's important you two don't wander off.
Of
Right.
course.
I mean it. I opened the door and closed it behind me, stepping into the cozy room. Mom? Dad? I hope they didn't leave to search for me. That would be partially my fault. Aura? Mom! I was embraced in a tight hug. My mum worryingly checked my face before stepping back. Where were you? Your dad got all anxious. I kept telling him you'd be alright, but when night came... I'm fine. The reason why my scouting took so long was because I bumped into 2 travelers. Oh no, Rupert, are you feeling something? She pursed her lips and tapped her chin. They're not amnesiac. What? Nope. Any mystical looking pendants on them? They have some simple jewelry, but no pendants. Dark and mysterious pasts? I'm pretty sure not. One is a spoiled brat, and the other one seems like he'd be the youngest of a dozen siblings. Mom is pretty. She is pretty. She sighed in relief. Good. I've had too many troublesome experiences with people like that. Let them into a village, and the next instant, it's on fire. That's my girl. Always thinking of everything. Where's Dad? I'm starving! She laughed at my carefree comment. He should be back soon. He leaned to one side, looking past me. Can let your friends in if you'd like. I turned to see Ilmari gingerly tapping the glass, then putting his hands all over it in bafflement. He looked like a performing mime. Amazing.
Wow.
What is this brilliant substance? You can see beyond it, but it's also a barrier. Not from around here? You could say that. Once we sat down at the table, Kerr was content leaning against the wall being sullen. I quickly explained the situation. I left out the punishment since I had a feeling Kerr would get embarrassed. So? Here in the first place, they'll be observing our customs and looking at some of the altars we built. That sounds wonderful. I know there's been more interaction between both races lately, but I'm out of the loop now. Mom used to be the captain of the guard for the city of Oliver, but had long since retired. At the ripe old age of 30. She kept busy performing various protection services for travellers and merchants, patrolling Berry, and even teaching sword fighting. We were hoping to leave first thing in the morning. And walk the whole way?
I glanced at Kerr and Ilmari. I could always swim, but it's been harder to navigate in this river recently. A lot of Heavenkind activity. None of us fly.
I guess we could always hire a coachman.
Actually, there's a small group of merchants heading for Oliver, and they won't leave until tomorrow afternoon. I had initially offered my services, but if you think you can handle it...
You mean it?
I can arrange it right now. Up for the challenge? It'll be your first real job outside of Barry without me.
Of course, I'll protect them to the best of my ability.
She laughed at my enthusiasm and excused herself, letting the males know that they were welcome to stay overnight. I grinned and pumped a fist into the air.
I'm going to be a real knight!
I feel like this is my first step into real knighthood! A knighthood?
Well, probably more like a mercenary. You get hired to protect people and make sure they arrive at their destination safely. That's a good thing. That way we can get to Oliver and earn a little money.
However, if I could ask my mom something later, then I'd really like to be a knight. I could have left for Oliver at any time, but I needed something important first. I was probably grinning like an idiot, but I didn't care. When I heard the door open, I knew it was my dad and immediately jumped up. Mum was likely on her late patrols again and probably wouldn't be back for a while.
You two are probably hungry. Is there anything you'd like to eat?
Thank
Well,
you.
I'm open to anything. I've never tried Heavenkind food before.
We'll try our best to make you something you'll like, Ilmari. Her?
He was pondering at first, and then reluctantly looked up.
Yes?
Look,
Those, the one that had the apple slices on it?
Oh, apple tarts. Of course. Pastries are pretty much my dad's specialty. He'll make some for you. He'll make some for you. I said that weird.
The smallest of smiles appeared on Kerr's face, but it quickly vanished. At least there was something Heavenkind related. At least there was something Heavenkind related that he enjoyed. Our meal was pleasant, and I was surprised that my dad even got Kerr to say more than a few lines. My dad always had a way of winning people over through his cooking. Ilmari found our eating traditions extremely complicated, what with all of the dishes and utensils used, but kept getting drawn to the windows again. Look at his eyes! Oh, he's having the best time. If I ever let him loose in a stained glass church? I snorted behind my cup thinking about it. When Mum returned, I pulled her away from the group for a private chat.
Is it all arranged? They'll be able to guard the carriage tomorrow?
Yes.
Then, since I'm going to Oliver anyway, can you write a letter recommending me for the knighthood?
In Oliver, there was a special guild for knights. People trained by revered knights could be endorsed to serve under the Sun and Moon Council. If I was going to Oliver now, this would be the perfect opportunity to join them. With Mum's name, they would not refuse me. If anything, they'd usher me in with open arms. My mum sighed and rubbed her forehead, already tired of the persistent conversation. Honestly, Aura, I still don't think you're ready and mature enough to...
I'm ready! Not only that, I could help her, help the Dragonkind better. Please?
She chuckled weakly, but I could tell she was still firm in her decision. Look, I'll think about it. For now, you can assist Colonel Ilmari just fine without the rank. I gave her a petulant look, but gave in.
Alright. I'm glad you're at least considering it. Thanks, Mom.
I returned to the others, who were finishing up their meal. As I gathered the dishes,
Dad glanced toward the stairs. Will you be spending the night here? You've already done so much for us. We also prefer more spacious places, so we'll be fine outside. You sure? Do you see us living in these things? Not really. You still have some time before it gets dark. I can show you around the town if you'd like. Ilmari brightened immediately while Kerr sighed. I'll go! Pass. Oh, he's doing the Kara face again. Weren't you ordered to learn more about Heavenkind? You can just summarize it for me. I'm more about finding the altars. Which are locations you visit after you learn. Let sleeping dragons lie, Imari. We can have fun without crab apples sulking along. I grabbed Ilmari's hand and led him outside, deciding to show off the orchards the town specialized in. Still lurking in chat, just listen to music and stimming. No worries, AJ. Thank you for the lurk. Appreciate it. As we walked down the road, we passed a farmhouse where 4 children were running around playing tag. When one spotted us, he waved, and the other 3 eagerly scampered towards us. Aura, Chase, come play! I was reading his name. Aura, come play! Another time, Chase. The youngest sibling crept forward and gazed up at Ilmari curiously. Your ears are funny. Is that a bad thing? Not at all. They're really cute, don't you think, Heather? She giggled. They look like butterflies. The children prodded at Ilmari and ran around until their mother called them back. Although I did not expect that, Ilmari seemed to have enjoyed himself. How sweet. They're all siblings, so they play together a lot. He blinked blankly before gasping. Wow. Siblings? They're all related? Yeah, it's not uncommon to have large families here, although I'm an only child myself. What about you? I guess you were, like, the youngest of a dozen. He gave a sheepish chuckle. No, I'm an only child too. It's extremely rare for Dragonkind to have siblings. I don't think I've met one that had more than 2. He tilted his head, then glanced at me hesitantly, as if pondering something.
I have a question.
Then, for mating season, is it... Alarm bells went off in my head, and I made a giant cross with my arms to dissuade him. Oh no, banned. I'm banning this subject. As if I could accurately answer those types of questions anyway. If you don't ask, I won't ask how it works between dragons.
I'm sorry.
Right, I agree. He appeared so awkward that I couldn't help but laugh, and soon we were chuckling over our quick diversion. Alright, let's keep going. I can show you around one of the farms. Okay. One of the barns was open. It actually belonged to an old friend of my family. I casually strolled in, pointing to various equipment. Ilmari gestured to a device in the corner. What does that do? Oh, it's a churn. You use it to, well, churn milk or cream into butter. Cream? Butter? Here, I'll demonstrate. Pretending, of course. I approached the cylindrical wooden tub and touched the stave. Basically, you plunge this up and down, and it'll shake the liquid and eventually turn it into a solid. Milk, cream, butter are all types of food. As I explained, the house owner entered, carrying 2 buckets filled to the brim with something. Hi, Bryony. I saw you showing your friend around, and I thought you'd like to demonstrate the real thing. With a wry smile, she set the buckets down. I stared at them expressionlessly. I wasn't planning on staying. Bryony's like, yep, free labor, get right in there. I want to see it. Between Ilmari's persistence and my inability to decline a request from my mum's friend, I gave in. Right, I'll show you, Ilmari. Then afterwards, you can show him how to milk cows. Fine, I'll do it! I'll do it all! I wasn't sure how, but I got roped into chores while showing Ilmari around. His questions were endless, and he seemed to enjoy every minute of it. Whenever I offered for him to take over, he'd shake his head and say that he'd probably mess up. Yeah, right, that's what he's worried about. I had the feeling he was just saying that, yeah. At least he loved the apple orchard when I was finally able to guide him there. It was late evening when we returned, and I was rolling my aching shoulder. Ugh, even my calluses have calluses. I haven't done farm stuff in years. I'm surprised I remembered it all. I'd been more focused on my sword training and patrolling duties as of late. That would make sense if you want to be a knight. But did you have fun, Ilmari? He grinned brightly, like a child who had just left the sweet shop with a pocket full of cookies.
That is so
I
amazing.
did! I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if I'd call it interesting, but I guess I've been here so long that it's all routine to me. If I was a knight, I could do more things. Hmm? Nothing. Really thinking out loud. You sure have a lot of questions regarding Heavenkind.
I'm
Sorry about that. I naturally love learning about new things. In return, if you have any questions about Dragonkind, I'd be happy to answer. He stopped and shyly fidgeted with his hands, and I could tell he was anticipating an inquiry. Confess you want to touch his ears! Oh my god, should we touch his ears? Should we try and touch his ears? I want to touch his ears. Let's do it. Well, I do have one. It's been bugging me ever since I first encountered Kerr, actually. Ask away. Can I touch your ears? He arched an eyebrow and tilted his head. That's not a real question. It totally is, and it's Dragonkind related. Can I? I know Kerr would refuse. If you want to? Ah! Cute! Oh, you see his hair with his little ribbon and everything. Adorable. I took a step forward and extended my hands, letting him see my movements since this was a rather close position. I reached up and gripped the ends of his ears lightly. The thin skin felt delicate between my fingers, while the other parts were like cartilage. They twitched slightly depending on where I grazed. Oh, Rupert, I'm getting very you vibes right now. Look at that face. You might even call it intimate. Aw, they're adorable! They are like a fluttering butterfly. It was then Ilmari reached over and touched my ears.
his thumbs massaging the inner region. Ooh.
What are you doing? My ears aren't that unique.
They are to me. I've noticed Heavenkind have 2 different types of ears.
Ah, yes. I'm a sunchild. Mine are smooth on the outside. Moon children have pointy ears.
Ah, I thought he was going to be talking about lobes there. I was like, that's really specific.
Sun children possess the element of light, while moon children get their powers from darkness.
His fingers pushed my hair back to observe the rims.
Wow.
Fascinating. And sun children and moon children get along? Everyone seems to mingle together.
Yeah, the only difference is what we worship. What about dragonkind? Is it the same for you?
Look how cute they are! Oh. So you're saying this game is making you pick between Kara and me? Yes, essentially yes.
Not exactly. Dragonkind and Urias are respectfully aware of each other, but avoid association. Although there are some exceptions. Ignis live in the volcanic regions and isolate themselves, while Seraph, do you think? Seraphe rarely leave the Skylands. Pretty much keep to our own kind for the most part.
Oh, I see. I like the idea that they've had this whole conversation just gently holding each other's ears. And anyone walking past is like, what the fuck? There was a moment of silence before I spoke up.
We should probably let go before people wonder where we're standing like this.
Amazing! They are. Incredible.
I'm sorry.
We hastily let go, our amused smiles reassuring each other that we were at ease.
I should get to bed now. We have a busy day ahead of us.
Thank you.
Night, Aurelie. Thanks so much for everything.
It's fine. I had fun too. Even if I got dragged halfway across Barry to do odd chores.
Once I opened the door to my house, I spotted my mum sitting at the table, holding a quill over some blank parchment. I covered my mouth to muffle a squeal. It's happening!
You're doing it! You're writing the letter?
I bounced on my heels and launched into a tackle as I hugged my mum from behind. I peered over her shoulders. This is where she just writes, "No," really slowly in block capitals.
You're actually gonna do it! You're actually gonna do it! I'm gonna be a knight!
I halted and let go, suddenly confused.
Wait, what made you change your mind?
My mum laughed and leaned back, flashing me a meaningful smile. Well, I did some thinking and I thought maybe you were right. You are ready.
That's what I've been telling you!
My smile was so wide it hurt.
Thanks, Mom. Love you and good night. I look forward to reading it in the morning.
I dashed upstairs, determined to fall asleep. However, I couldn't help but toss and turn as I replayed the day's events. And not only Ilmari's questions, but that I was going to become a knight once I arrived in Oliver. The task to protect the carriage would be viewed as my first duty as a knight, or could be viewed. My first real mission. I certainly couldn't sleep now. I hugged my pillow and rolled around, unable to stop my giddiness.
I'm gonna be a professional knight! Do professional knights normally act like this? Oh, I don't care, I'm so happy!
To achieve the title of knight, one usually had to be trained at a famous school or academy and graduate from there. Since I did not live in a big city that had such establishments, I trained solely under my mum instead, and her status and achievements were well known. Which is why I needed that letter badly. If she recommended me, other captains or noblemen would probably hire me and I could serve the Sun and Moon Council. And I'd be able to see more of Ishtara outside of Berry, as a real knight. Unable to remain still, I hopped out of bed and paced restlessly. I approached the window, not sure what I was expecting. How are those two doing anyway? It's not like Kerr can transform back and sleep how he always does. I wonder if I can find them and check on them quickly. Snatching the blanket off the bed, I wrapped it around my shoulders like an oversized shawl. Then I strapped on my belt and scabbard and walked out the door. Outside, it was comfortably cool, and I found the sound of crickets and frogs soothing as I walked beside the river. I guess I was subconsciously anticipating to find Ilmari sleeping on the bank or underwater. On a whim, I entered the apple orchard. I spotted Ilmari sitting against one of the tree trunks. His ears instantly perked up, although I had a feeling he'd heard me approaching earlier. Can't sleep? Something like that. Sat down next to him. Poked at the grass in front of him dejectedly. Kerr wouldn't bond with me. Huh? Bond? Dragons bond by nesting together. I thought since we were going to be travel companions, despite our differences... He hated the idea, though. Kerr doesn't seem to like being touched in general, I can imagine. He stared at me hopefully.
Well...
He stopped and tucked his knees up, his arms resting around his legs. What about you? I mean, is it different between Heavenkind? I scrambled to formulate an answer. Well, cuddling is something between family and loved ones. Hugs are more acceptable between friends. What did I know? My mind was full of knighthood dreams and sword skills. In no way was I the most authoritative representative regarding Heavenkind relationships. Hug? You put your arms around someone and hold them close. I mimed the action using my blanket. He nodded in understanding. Ah, then I guess you wouldn't, Go on. He's obviously lonely. Declining Ilmari would be like rejecting a basket full of kittens. Exactly. Kittens that all looked up at you pleadingly. Exactly. For a few minutes. I can't stay out here all night. I do need to return to my bed. I shuffled over to him until we were shoulder to shoulder and adjusted the blanket so it draped over both of us. It's not that cold out? Are you okay, Rupa? Not really. It feels nice. So, forgot to ask this earlier, but why are you so interested in learning about Heavenkind? Because your culture is fascinating. Huh?
That is so amazing.
Everything the Heavenkind do is amazing. You can create things I've never seen before, and look, you can do this. He wiggled his thumbs and fingers. You're so dexterous. I laughed and mimicked him momentarily. It's true, our kinds are interacting more. I assume you've heard of it.
Of
Yes,
course.
I'd like to be a sort of mediator. I think you'd call it a diplomat?
I've already tried to help Heavenkind before, but it didn't work out. It's harder than it looks. How so? Well, this one incident, they were willingly entering this monster's mouth, and there was nothing I could do about it. Wait, a monster? Yes, this strange one that smells of wood and floats on the water. I've never seen it before, and the Heavenkind simply enter it.
Is he talking about a boat?
I nudged it a few times, but people seemed upset. Ilmari, those are boats. We use those to travel up and down the river.
What?
So it wasn't a monster?
He slumped into the blanket, mortified. I patted him on the shoulder, trying to reassure him.
It's okay. Misunderstandings happen. You had good intentions.
Oh my god, too cute. Oh, bless.
And now you'll be able to study Heavenkind at a more personal level. I do my best to clarify anything you're uncertain of. In return, tell me more about Dragonkind.
That seems fair. I'll try not to ask any more boring questions, though. I mean, what interested me didn't seem so fun for you.
I'm never churning butter again.
Feeling that our conversation had reached a satisfying note, I clutched the blanket and stood up.
You'll be fine by yourself?
Yeah,
Of course.
I'll see you in the morning.
playfully, I draped the blanket back over him. Even a dragon might need an extra layer of warmth in a Heavenkind body.
Take care then.
As I sauntered back to my house, easily guided by the bright moon, I spotted Kerr restlessly pacing by the door. Puzzled, I approached him.
Need something? Ilmari is past the river if you're looking for him.
Nothing to do with him, but thanks for the heads up since I can avoid him easier. I would have given him a light punch to the shoulder, but I remembered he hated contact.
Mean! Play nice! He'll be traveling with you after all. Maybe you don't mind being stuck with me until we reach Oliver. I think we'll have fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I've noticed. I heard you squealing even from afar. My ears couldn't shut it out if I tried.
I'm sorry, it's something I've always wanted to do, and now is the perfect opportunity. All the experience from my freelance jobs will finally pay off, and I'll be on the road to knighthood. Let's make tomorrow's task a successful one. We're guarding that that was weird. Wagons so the merchant's cargo will arrive safely in Oliver. Think you can handle it?
Wrinkled his nose. An escort mission?
Not the most glamorous duty, but it is honorable. Anyway, I'm gonna bed. I promise I'll stop squealing.
As I was about to open the door, Kerr stepped forward.
Look,
Wait, scratched the back of his neck sheepishly. Surprised by his rather modest display, I looked at him intently.
Yes?
About earlier, when you crammed that food into my mouth.
Oh, I was joking, so don't worry about it. I'm sorry if it seemed mean-spirited. It wasn't my intention.
No, you were right.
Huh?
Kerr seemed both shocked and offended by my reaction.
What I mean to say is, you did help me a little. Ooh, hydrate and stretch. Thank you, AJ. Ah, that was a good stretch. A little? I gave you a walking stick, fed you, fought a giant bird, took you to the altar, got ditched, only for you to come crawling back, and I accepted you a second time. No, not the tea! Now I'm starting to wonder why I did. I feigned contemplating, and he glanced away anxiously, as if dreading that I would refuse to help him now. I stuck out my tongue to appease him. Don't worry about it. Maybe I was right about me having immeasurable kindness. I am grateful, but you exaggerated. You're definitely not the best Heavenkind has to offer. Peaked, I gave him a swift kick to the back of the leg. Ow! You're right. I'm not. But I'll definitely be the best knight. Even if I lost some kindness points for that action, I'll re-earn them tomorrow. He deserved that. He fucking did, ungrateful piece of shit. Night, Kerr. Night. I closed the door behind me, resisting the urge to squeal about tomorrow. We're like, yeah, I'm not the best Heavenkind has to offer, which is why I'm not above beating the shit out of you. Alright, I think that's enough for today. A lot of reading and my throat is still recovering a little bit, and also my ankle just did a horrible crack thing. I think I need to go sort that out. That was fun. This is a really cute game. I'm really into it. Tomorrow I'm probably going to be playing a game called Heal, which deals with the subject of dementia, so it is going to be quite heavy, probably, at times. I'll put content warning in the title and everything, don't worry about that, but I just thought I'd preemptively warn you. It's another game that the dev sent me a key for, so I am looking forward to it. It looks really interesting, but it does look like it's going to be, deal with some heavier issues, so if anyone doesn't feel comfortable hanging out on that one, please don't worry about offending me or anything like that. Please look after yourself and put your own mental health first. Anyway, let us see who is online for a cheeky raid. Oh, I think Rosa's just come on. Let's just go raid Rosa. That's not it. There we go. So, as always, thank you everyone for hanging out. It's been lovely and it's been a nice way to ease back into streaming after a week off. I'll be streaming myself tomorrow, but if I finish before you, I'll come hang out. Yes, AJ, depending on who finishes first, I will try come check you out as well. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!